Good morning, Mr. Jackson. My name is Ian Murphy, and I'm here today to talk to you about Seesaw and how I believe that it will help you in your goals for summative assessment and feedback. So, let's begin. First and foremost, let's look at your goals and challenges according to your case study. Your goals are you want to be able to formally assess character development and thematic development and see what drives a character, what are their motivations, and how can you track the logic on how they get to where they end up being. Next, you want to be able to formally assess oral presentation and what needs to be worked on for their skills in that. And third of all, you want to be able to allow students to learn from each other, to take notes, and to be able to write a paper on what they've learned. Next, you want to be able to give a detailed feedback report to students on character analysis and oral presentation. Let's look at your challenges. First and foremost, it is not an enjoyable assignment as students can be very anxious in having to stand up and talk in the front of the class. Other forms of media have not worked. As I saw in your case study, you tried to do a more art representation picture of what happened, and it was a bit of a struggle to go through. Third of all, it is a little bit difficult to recall everything said, as some students will most likely give very vague information, or students might take a vague note, and so when they have to recall, they aren't able to recall much except surface level information. And fourth of all, it takes a lot of time to go through all the index cards, all the slides for up to 60 students. And so I believe that Seesaw is the answer for you. You may be asking, what is Seesaw? Seesaw is a content sharing media platform that allows students to take content creation into their own hands and allow collaboration. It allows for video and audio recording to give feedback to and get feedback from students, and allows for progress monitoring, and standard aligned skills to be met and focused on. So, whenever it's time to sign up, you're going to hit sign up, select I am a teacher, and it will guide you through the process of this is my grade that I'm teaching, this is the goals I want to be teaching in, and what needs to be done to meet these goals. And so, now that you're signed up, now what? So first and foremost, you're going to create the assignments. You're going to give a link for students to join, whether by email or by having them sign on to the website itself. And then you're going to allow the students to work together or by themselves to make their portfolio. Next, you can view their progress and comment on their works. You're able to give feedback, comment on every single slide that they're able to put up, and just allow them to get that feedback that they very much so needed. And then it allows other students to watch and look at others' work while also being able to look back at them to review and retake notes if necessary. And so I believe that Padlet, or not Padlet, sorry, I believe that Seesaw is here to help you. So let's head over there and take a look. So when we first join, we have our library up here. And so when we go to our library, we have a community and Seesaw library in which shows other creators and what they do and how and possible templates that we could use ourselves to uh, adjust to our classroom and help in our studies. And when we go to our library, we go ahead and see our recent activities. We can see our collections. As you can see here, I've done some experimenting myself, and I believe that this can be very helpful for us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a new activity for our students to work on. We're going to call it the character development and analysis study. and we have some guidelines in what we want to do. So first and foremost, we want to be able to analyze complex characters in their development. We want to identify the motivations, as there will be multiple, track where they occur and where they lead in the character's decision making, and what gets them to change a decision that they probably would have made. And then also we want to be able to take shorthanded but detailed notes and prepare for any questions that we may have at the end. And lastly, we can have them make a PowerPoint in which features the character and the development that they go through. You can add a voice instruction, you can add a multimedia instruction or example where you can pull an example from YouTube or other sources of video. And then you can also add a template for in which how the students should make their assignment and how it should look according to a rubric, and then add any notes for the teachers if need be. And so down here we are going to go to save, and once we do so, it will show up and we have the option to assign the assignment to our students. And what that can do is it allows us to, when we hit assign, it allows us to pick the class that we are going to be working with, which student is going to get the email to join and will work on the assignments, and allow us to uh, work together with the students. And so we're going to go and assign the project. And then once it is assigned, students can go ahead and uh, sign in on their own devices or computers. They will go to seesaw.me, or they will receive an email and with instructions and a code in which to join. And then once they do so, they will join the activities tab. As I will show you, they will come to the activities tab where you can see what is assigned, scheduled to be, archived, and the calendar for it. And we have notifications where we can see what student is doing this, what student has not done something in a little bit, what student is doing something currently. And then when we get to journal, that allows us to actually look and see what our students are, what they're doing, and allow us to be able to see uh, that all 60 of your students have joined and that we can put everyone together. And so for this assignment, I've made a sample PowerPoint in which follows the motivations of the cartoon character Zuko from the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. And so whenever your students have done their work, they will go ahead and click Add Response. They will select a student, which student they are, and then they can add their photos, they can add drawings, they can take videos of their notes if they don't want to. If they don't want to stand up in front of the class, they can record their notes, record their presentation, and then give the video to you for you to present to the class, so that way they aren't standing up in the middle of the classroom to be able to do the presentations. You can also give links such as files, give notes, and upload PowerPoints, videos, and other things. And so down here, I have made a somewhat impromptu PowerPoint as a sample student for this. And let's take a look. So the character Zuko is a very complex character, as the beginning of the show focuses very much on the trauma he faces speaking out against his abusive father. And so in the beginning, he has a desire to regain his honor by capturing one of the strongest heroes in the world. He wants to find what he believes is the true path for his destiny, and by doing that, he will uh throughout his course, he later learns that his goals of acceptance by his father are empty, as they have conditions and the cost of regaining honor are not worth it. So let's take a look in the beginning. in the beginning, he is ready to sacrifice himself and everything to capture the Avatar to bring him home to his father. He is willing to fight anyone and anything that may stop him from getting the Avatar. But eventually, he starts to realize that after the Avatar is quote unquote killed, that is a story for another time. But after the Avatar is killed, he is welcomed home like a hero with his honor regained. But now that he's really that even with everything he has, it's not happy. He realizes that he gave up in, what was truly important: the love of his uncle, the support that he gave for him, and his own desires to do better. He's realizing that his father has been abusive, and that is pushing him to show remorse and anger for what he has done. And towards the end, he ends up betraying his entire nation to help the Avatar, who is brought back to health, and mentor him to be able to defeat his father. And throughout the course of the end of the series, he is able to accept his flaws. He's able to move past his trauma uh, from facing his abusive father. And so that is the presentation. And as you go through this, you are able to you're able to give comments on what needs to be viewed, what needs to work, and what could potentially be, and what is good to go. And if you click down here at next post, it'll just shift through the next post on what needs to be done. And so that is Seesaw. And so work. I believe that Seesaw has achieved that, as we are able to assess students' work. Students are able to look at other students' work to be able to go back and review if need be, and allows you to be able to comment on other students' work and give them the feedback that they need. For your challenges, I believe that this can be a good and engaging way that students can find easier, as instead of standing in front of the class, they could record themselves and giving their presentation and show that to the class. It is very similar to past versions of presentations, and it allows students to review and recall other students' works to better recall that information needed for their papers, and it can compile all 60 students' works to better organize, as everything is all on one website. With just a few clicks away, you can pull up many students' PowerPoints and slides. So I believe that Seesaw is the technology for you, and I hope to hear a positive review from you in the future. Thank you for your time, Mr. Jackson. Have a good day.